All right. So, Pinchas, right? Is this Parsha? Everyone knows anything about this story?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can anyone share a little bit? Just a little bit. Pinchas. Uh-oh. All right.
It's when Israel, after that thing with Bella and Balak, and they was as always, like I said, they always looking at the other nation. They stopped worship and coming unto them, taking worshiping their idols
Mm-hmm.
and taking their women to be um, their women and at Pentecost,
Pinchas. Uh-huh.
because
Mhm.
he did something extraordinary. He got really jealous for
Mhm.
the father, and
Mhm.
he stopped a plague coming in where it came in, but he stopped it.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Um, some of the sons of Israel, one in particular, took a Moabite woman in the camp and used a spear or a javelin to thrust them both through.
Okay. Right through that belly, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what we do know about him is he had a lot of zeal, right? So keep that in mind. So before we get into all that good stuff, I'm sure you guys read the Hebrew. So I'm going to see how silent I need to be and how loud you guys need to be. Okay. So first part here, we have the top of the English says, and Yahuah spoke unto Musha, saying. Now you can pause there. And over here, how do we say that in Hebrew? Wadaber Yahuah el Moshe lemor. Remember, this has been the same for months. So you guys should be good. All right. Wadaber Yahuah el Moshe lemor. Okay. All right. Now, here's where I think it might get tough for some people. So we'll take it by the number. First part, well, first we read it says where the comma is. Stop where the comma is. I want you to stop right here. And what does it say? Pinchas, the son of Eleazar. It's okay. No worries. We got you. So right here it says Pinchas ben Eleazar, right? Next is ben Aharon HaKohen, right? Which is, okay. Next is Heshib et Hamati Na'al B'nai Yisrael, right? I'm just rolling through this thing because I know you guys are rolling with me. No worries. To the children of Israel, all right? Next is Bet Khan O et Kin Ati Betocham, right? Which is while he was zealous for my sake among them. Then the last part it says, well, lo, kiliti et beni Israel, the kin ati. That is, assume not the children of Israel in my jealousy. All right. Glad you guys helped me out. It was beautiful. Yofe. Question. In here, you see, I highlighted some things. Where could you find these words in the Hebrew there? Has anyone looked and see, like, are these the same words? Zealous and jealousy? Are they different? Are they same? What is it? It's similar? Okay.
Urge to do something about in his mind, in his heart, that what they was doing was wrong.
Right, but I mean the words. Are these words the same?
The jealousy, I think it's similar. He'll go for it, and he could be also, bad about something.
All right, so
They're not the same.
okay, so here's, huh? So in the Hebrew, Are they spelled the same? Meaning, do they have the same root or something, or are they different? And it's going to tell you here somewhere. Did you guys looked?
Yeah, they spell the same.
Okay, so you see it right here, right? See this here, right? And the root of this word right here is right here, right? Where else do you see this?
Right over here, right there.
Okay, do you see it here? Root of the word, you see it right here, right? But what about here?
Yeah, like that too.
So here you see the root word right here, right? Question, you see 3 places here. Where are the 3 places here? Right here. I'm going to help you out. So really it's from, see that it says, technically he could say he was zealous for my jealousy. But it says in the King James, for my sake, right? But if you look at it in the Hebrew here, notice that it's actually saying right here, all right? So just understanding this jealousy, this zealous that he had, we're going to go into more about what this means in a minute. But just understand that his zealousness was for the Father. And that's what we're going to see the difference between us and how we think and how we supposed to be thinking towards the Father. Okay? Is everyone good so far? All right. So there's a disclaimer. Is everyone with me so far? I got a disclaimer. I got to let everybody know up front. Does anyone know what a disclaimer means? All right. So I want to share some things with you guys. So in this lesson, we will be going over places that talks about the negative ways women act towards men and Yahuah. Okay? What I would like for us to get out of this lesson is how we are the children of Israel, after all, a bride to the Most High. Those actions can be seen in all of us, not just women. Okay? So is everyone with me so far? So it's going to seem like this is beating them up, but understand that there's a bigger picture that we're supposed to get out of this. Okay, is everyone with me so far? So I got my disclaimer up front. Any questions about this disclaimer? Everyone's good. All right. You hear it now, right? Okay.
Excuse me, I have to step out for a minute. Can you repeat that?
I got a disclaimer. And this disclaimer is we're going to go on over this here. It says in this lesson, we'll be going over places that talks about the negative ways women act towards the men and Yahuah. So what I would like for us to get out of this lesson is how we are the children of Israel, a bride to the Most High. Those actions can be seen in all of us, not just women. Okay? So when you start turning red and balling your fists up, and I can't wait to put something in your food and get the food all cold and all this stuff starts happening, just understand I put a disclaimer up front early. So just as long as my food is fine.
I'm just trying to get right.
Okay. All right. Just want to verify some things. All right. So I guess I better put another disclaimer out. Seems like I got a bunch to go. So this one, when I say what does the name Pinchas mean, I'm not trying to get into no racial battle, white, black, or things like that. Just something that you can find in old dictionaries. And I just put it on here, dictionaries and lexicons. Okay, is everyone with me so far? So Pinchas, let me just tell you what that is first. Okay. Okay, everyone sees this, right? All right, so even in the Egyptian languages, this word there, Pinchas, means the Negro. There's another dictionary for Pinchas, and it says, even you can skip all the Josephus writings, but has the black people and the Nubians, and it goes on about that, the dark-skinned people, right? Then you got another one, and if you want to read it in this lexicon, it calls it the black man. And then we can look at our dictionaries we have today. And it starts to go over mouth of brass, because the word pay means mouth, right? And Nikas is said to be brass and or serpent, which we'll talk about in just a minute. So you look in your Strong's or your modern dictionaries today, for an example, you'll have mouth of a serpent, okay? Pincus and things like that right now. Everyone see how this grows? All right. So why is it said this way? So Nakas and Nakash. Some Hebrew grammar books agree that certain letters are interchangeable in words. So they're saying this shin and sin are interchangeable. Okay? Is everyone with me so far? All right. Do I need to do another disclaimer? Are we good? Okay. So your mom was calling you Pincus back in the day? She said, Negro, please. Okay, got it. All right. Recap from last week, right? To help us with this week's Parsha. 25:1, it says, and Yashrael and Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab, right? So here's the etymology of the word whoredom. We went over this before, so I don't need to go through all of this. Just the highlights. It means committing adultery, figuratively to commit idolatry. So there's a connection between whoredom, adultery, idolatry, committing fornication, go a whoring, whorish, be unfaithful, and harlot. Okay? Everyone with me so far? So bottom part, I didn't read out on belief, so I'll read that part. Is Zana can refer to both an extramarital sexual relationship and worship outside the covenant. For instance, it got Numbers 25:1, Hosea 4:13 through 15, and 9:1, and Yirmiyahu or Jeremiah 5:7. This is because apostasy from Yahuah was frequently connected with what? In the Canaanite fertility cult with its several prostitution. Remember we talked about that last week. Okay, so the verb zanah can also be used for commercial context with pagan people. For any association that is not right in the eyes of Yahuah can be called harlotry. Okay, how we feel so far? Does it make sense first? Yes. All right, keep this in mind. We're going to see some examples, but I just want us to keep this in mind. Idolatry. So I said, what is the definition of idolatry, right? Teraphim, right, is what you'll find. It means healer, teraphim, singular, plural, family idol, idols, images, teraphim, powerless, grow weaker, a spirit which can on some occasions be regarded as protective and others as what? Malevolent, right? Spiteful type spirit. Anyway, spirit of the dead, household gods. And it has ephod. We'll talk about that another time, about how, or you can read if you want to in Judges 17:5 through 6 and Hosea 3:4, where they would actually have household gods and create an ephod for those deities. All right. Tell me a little bit about teraphim that you guys studied, if at all. Okay, teraphim. Okay, so it's credited in other books as spirits of fallen spirits, fallen messengers, or commonly called fallen angels, or things like that. And they put these things inside idols. And normally, or usually, last year I gave some pictures of idols with their mouths open, right? Because they felt as though that's how the spirit would get in, is how they make these idols. And it was supposed to be their protector and their healer, okay? And so this is what was going on at this time, but how is this related? How is this related to idolatry, dealing with the Father? Okay, putting other mighty ones before him, all right? So we'll see that idolatry would deal with, at some point, if you're putting something before him, you'll see it's going to be linked to what else? Whoredom, adultery, fornication. Okay, great. So we're going to see that in a minute. So next definition is extreme admiration, love, or reverence for something or someone. When a person desires someone or something that is outside of his or her head or covering, it is likened to adultery. Okay? How are we doing so far? No questions? Okay. All right. Okay. I'm not going to go through all that. I'm just going real brief. All right. Example, if a woman already has a head, be it a head of the house or a covering, and looks upon another man to be intimate with, she has a desire or a love for him most of the time. Remember what Bereshit 3:16 says, your desire is to your husband, right? So that's what I put in, not referring to single women. So I'm going to use you for an example. Okay. And we use you for an example. All right. So, and I'm going to use you for an example. All right. So if for this skit, all right, if Amaya says, hey, I desire Yeshurun, question first to the ladies, is she wrong?
No,
Huh? To the ladies first.
no.
You say no? No? Anyone else? Okay.
I understand because
Okay, is
we
he
don't want to
married?
get into her.
Yeah, he's married.
He's married?
Mhm.
So if she has a desire for him,
Mhm.
and he already have a deep
He better not have a niece. Yeah.
insha.
I got you. Oh, that's gonna be wrong. Right? Is she wrong? Yeshurun's married, and she says, "Hey, I desire Yeshurun." She's single. Is she
Single.
No, she's not.
You didn't say that first.
No, he's married. Now Maya's single.
Why did you say that?
Yes, he said that at first.
Yeah,
She was single?
Yes, he said.
yeah. I said she's single.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you.
But if he using him and me as an example.
Right.
Yeah, but
And then he uses her too.
See why we gotta talk.
So we already know she's a sinner.
We
I
missed
have
that.
a
Yeah, we missed that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, because I know she's single.
You should say, if you look at.
We're gonna go over that too.
Ooh.
We're gonna go over that in just a minute too.
Okay, I was just getting my.
You wanna get it right?
Address.
Okay.
So you already.
Okay.
unfortunately, it's no.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
All right. Okay. All right. Unfortunately, it's no. All right. For those that says yes, it's wrong. Why would you say it's wrong? It's just wrong. Oh no, it's wrong. Suppose she said that's what she did. The Father showed me him. So we have no address for this. We're just going to call this a no. All right. No. Keep this in mind because we're going to read about what you're saying in a minute. All right. So again, for the men, is she wrong if she says, "Hey, I desire Yeshurun"? Is she wrong? Okay. And if you say she's not wrong, why would she not be wrong?
Wife can't cover my manservant or maidservant, can't cover anything of mine. So there's nothing that's saying that a single woman would not desire to be a part of man's household.
I think it's unsaid, but it's implicated.
You said unsaid?
Yeah, it's unsaid, but it's implicated.
Okay. When you say unsaid, you mean it's not written. Okay, I got you. It's unwritten.
Yeah, but it's implicated when you look at it, like,
Right. That's what. So we're going to go over the scripture you're writing. You want? Uh-huh.
So, desire. I guess we need to look up the true definition for desire.
Desire and lust are the same words.
Okay, so we're not supposed to lust after nobody, right?
No. A man can lust after his wife if he chooses to. The problem is the word in English, lust or desire. We look at desire as that's nice, that's okay. But lust, no. But you go into Hebrew, it is the same exact word. So we can't change one out like we do in English.
That's not fair.
So she can lust after him or desire the same Hebrew word. Can she do that?
She don't touch me.
Huh? All right. So keep that. I want you to keep this in mind. All right. So if a man wants another Elohim, or if he worships the woman, this would be idolatry. So I just want to show you there's some difference between male and female. It ain't like it's just a one-sided deal, right? But we're going to see in just a minute, because I know we're just itching it. Get that answer, right?
What's worship a woman?
Huh?
What is worship?
Worship a woman? All right, so there are some beliefs out there that women can be mighty ones. There are some beliefs out there that women are quote unquote gods. There are some beliefs out there that if the father says this and a woman says this, the minute he listens to a woman that said this, you've automatically put her over the father. That becomes right.
She makes you choose between Elohim and her.
Right. We'll see an example of that with Jezebel. Okay, we'll see an example today with Jezebel.
So are you gonna go, since you're going that way, are you gonna go and how the husband's supposed to love their wife?
No. This is really about idolatry.
Oh, okay. I just
She wanna
asked.
take that off herself.
Yeah. So y'all remember the disclaimer?
The bride of Mashiach.
Okay, all right. So I just want to make sure the disclaimer, because I can go all the way back to the disclaimer and say, listen, the whole point of this was so you understand it from this angle. All right. All right. Here we go. So Mashiach said in Luke 13, no servants, not that one. This is no servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, right? Or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Elohim and mammon or riches, right? So here's a word for servant. But here's my question here. When it says a servant, two masters, we'll talk about what that means. But what do you guys get out of this here? If from what we just talked about thus far, what could you give me that will help me see where we're going with this?
When I'm looking at that, I'm looking at not as far as people go, as far as serving. Two masters. I'm thinking about the Father and the Elohim or whatever of this world. That's what I'm looking at.
So you're saying basically you can't serve Yahuah and then serve Shaitan or Satan or some sort, right? Okay.
But your wife can't serve two husbands.
Right. Same principle for a woman. A woman can't have two heads, two husbands, right?
Right.
All right. So the servant part, remember, who all are servants?
Everyone.
All of us are servants, right? So we're going to see how this works. All right. So this is the other definition for servant. So we should be good servant. Only thing I guess I'll share with this portion of it here. We're talking to occupy a house and reside, but everyone already agrees that if we're a servant to the Father, we can't be serving some other mighty one in the Father's house. It's just not going to happen, right? Everyone's good with that. All right. So what is a master? Okay, curious, right? Supreme in authority. Controller. My man, my husband controls me. Master, as a respectful title. Then it got God, Lord, Master, and Sir. Question. Well, let me go to the next. Let me go ahead to. Let me go. Oh, wait a minute. So wait a minute. So you guys don't like Sir?
They don't like master.
Huh?
Don't like Lord. Don't like God.
Huh?
Don't like none of that.
I mean, well, Gadar says this all the time. Oh, he working his way out of that one. I forgot. All right. So no worries. I got you. No worries. All right. So, all right. So, master, sir, supreme authority, controller, things like that, right? All right. So look at this here in 1 Kepha 3:5 or 1 Peter 3:5 and 6 says, for after this manner in the old times, the Chadash women, the set apart women, also, it says, who trusted in Elohim, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husband. Now, what type of women was doing this?
Set apart women.
All right. So again, for a man being of the children of Israel, we're considered the bride. We have to be the same way, correct? All right. Verse 6 says, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham and called him Adonai, he called him my master, right? Whose daughters you are, as long as you do well and are not afraid with any amazement. Okay. So was she wrong to call him that?
No.
Okay. Okay. We'll keep going. So women are not the only ones that can commit adultery. If a man goes into a woman that is already married, he commits adultery. Also, we are married to the Creator. So if we desire another mighty one, we also have committed adultery / idolatry. We are all servants of Yahuah. We learn from each other. Okay, it was good so far. So in the last week's Parsha,
excuse me, Aki, can you like really just elaborate on the fact that what you just said about a man not he can't just like go around sleeping around with other women like just because she's single and he's married? Can you like really just elaborate a little bit on that? Because how you said it, I can already see people would just really like take that and feel like, okay, I'm married, but I can go out here and get any other single woman that I want.
she said elaborate. I didn't even say anything about it. No. All right. No, I'm with you, but
I like you too. Thank you.
but, yeah, but we're gonna get to it once we get to the part about what Messiah says. That's coming up in the next slide, so no worries. We're on our way. All right. Do I need to hit that disclaimer button one more time? All right. Right. But they have to, because if not, then the man would say, well, hey, I'm free to do as I please, as I see fit, right? All right. So keep this in mind. Matthews. Right? Matthews, we'll talk about two masters creates confusion and anger. Matthews 5:20 says, but I say unto you that whosoever looks on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart. Question, what does that mean?
The adultery is the key. So if a man, if you know what the commandment says, has to commit adultery with your neighbor, right? Right. So if a woman is married, you look upon her and you desire her for any reason, like wow, he really got good. She's a nice looking lady. She can cook good. She looks fine. I wonder how she, and now you already committed adultery with that man's wife in your mind.
What about a single?
Okay, so I'm going to show you. So just so we clear.
The Father says to love him with all your heart, all your soul, and all your spirit.
Right.
That heart thing right there relates to that adultery from the
That's period. That's both sides. Can that be for married and single?
Right. So first, here, the Mashiach is dealing with a law during that day.
Right.
Remember who he's talking to. He's talking to Pharisees. He's talking to people that made a law that you can do whatever you want. You can put her away for whatever cause. You can do all this stuff. You can lay with this one and lay with that one. I like this one better than the other one, so let this one go. All of that is fornication, right? There is no agreements. There is no covenants. There is none of this stuff. They're just doing it because they just feel like doing it, right? But like you said, for here, notice, what does it mean? Whosoever looks upon a woman, lust or desires after her commits adultery. The definition of adultery. He's talking to people that already know what adultery is, right? So he didn't have to go and explain it, now if he's talking to someone that didn't know, then sure, it'll walk this thing out. But he's talking to people that already know the law. All right. So does it give men, because men say, hey, listen, I can have an Isha and I can have a maid servant, I can cover somebody, that now what I want to do is find as many as I want that I like, that looks good, and we're good to go.
Would he be committing adultery by looking at another woman that may desire him? No?
No.
Okay.
No. Now, when we talk about, so for this one here, simply put, basically is, as Yeshua was saying, is if a woman is already married, she's already taken, and then the man's in his mind, she one day came out and something popped out or something was shown or something.
How she showed
Yeah.
You know,
He goes, yeah, she had a gentle touch.
Yeah, she came in
Okay.
and on and talking to you.
Yeah.
Like, you like,
You smell good, I smell good. He goes back home. He starts to think in his mind what he can do with her. And she's already married. He's already committed the adultery in his mind. He just hasn't physically done it yet. He's on his way. So Mashiach is trying to share, before you even get to that stage, you've already committed it in your heart. Now, if you think about that when it comes to the father, if we go out there and let's say, which we'll see today in Baal Peor, notice that they had a desire, but they used the women to help them along to get to serving their Elohim, which we're going to see today. That is committing adultery. That is idolatry. That is everything you can think of. Whoredom, fornication. That's what that's all about during that time. What you have?
Okay, maybe I'm trying to, I mean, I know it's sin, but just answer the question because I know probably other women may have the same question.
Mm-hmm.
We keep focusing on the married people. What about the man, he's married and he's looking at a single woman? Is that considered committing adultery in his heart because he's looking at a woman he's married already?
Right. So again, what is adultery? Adultery is only if a woman. Mm-hmm.
Adultery is when you commit something already. Committed a sin. Then with a person
not understanding the definition of adultery.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
Adultery is a man sleeping with another man's wife.
Right. Right. That's
the definition of adultery.
right. Right.
A man sleeping with another man's wife.
Right. That's adultery. Or a woman that's married sleeps with a man. That's the definition of adultery. Now, what you're sharing is, can he look upon a woman that's single? If she's single and he has a desire for her, he has no problems if he has a desire for her. It's what he's going to do with that desire comes next. See what I mean? Like, in other words, if I just want to casually be with this person and make the daughters of Zion whores, you can't do that. You see what I mean? That's a no-go. If there's an agreement made or if there's a covenant made or whatever they're doing, they say you're now a part of something. You're a part of the house or you're part of this a contractual agreement that you make. If you do that, that's not adultery. That's not fornication. But they should be known what they're doing versus just going out there. Oh, I'm at a place. And, oh, I saw that woman. She looked good. You single? Yep. Hey, me and you tonight. You see what I mean? You just made her a whore. So you can't do that. Okay? All right.
Question. So just to clarify, just in case anybody got questions, I can do that. Now, as a sister, we've been in this walk for like 13, 14 years, and I've heard some brothers say, well, even though she's married, her husband is not in the walk, so it would be okay because that's still wrong, though, because she's still somebody else's wife.
Right. So right. Even if he's not in the walk, if he's not in the walk and they're still, together or whatever they're doing, she can't go and say, well, my man is not in the walk. We can get together. She can't do that. Because in layman's terms, you still be mixing seed technically in one avenue. But the other part of it, he would be committing a spiritual in the heart. This is what we're going to get to next is what is mean by already in his heart, right? So when we look at already in his heart, so the answer to the definition of adultery, we got that Yahuah did not make a new law or change the law of Yahuah. We know that part. But look what it means in the heart. Now, of course, whereas cardia, I guess you can know why we get in the English cardiac from, right? But we're not doing linguistics today. Think about what this is saying here. Heart, figuratively, what? Minds, right? So he's in his mind and in his feelings and stuff like that. He starts to do this thing in his heart towards someone that's already married. That's a no-go. Mm-hmm.
She's a married woman. She's looking at a man to know that he's married or single, and she's desiring him in her heart.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Someone had a question? Okay. Okay, someone had a question?
Yes, Lamadyahu. In Barishit, when Yehuda goes, he's actually, there's two words for harlots in the passage where Yehuda goes into Tamar.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a connection there? Because he doesn't know it's Tamar, but he thinks he's purchasing a prostitute. But there's two words used for that, for prostitute. One is, I guess, basically an adulteress, and then the other word means temple prostitute.
Right. Uh-huh.
There's two different words that are used.
Right. Right, but mind you, okay, go ahead.
So what was, I mean, was he committing, when he did that, was he in the wrong? Even though that was Tamar's, you know, the righteous thing to do was for him to go into Tamar, but in the circumstances, he thought he was doing it with a prostitute. So, I mean, was in his heart, was he wrong in a sense by doing that?
Well,
and then you got the two different Hebrew words.
Well,
you know, one means temple prostitute and the other one means adulteress.
Right, but both of them are bad words. So it doesn't matter how many words is there. Think about Yehuda first. What was Yehuda's mindset? I just want to go sleep around. That's it. That's all I want to do is lay seed and keep it moving. Is that good to do?
No.
Okay, so that right there in itself would tell you that's a no-go. Okay, and then after he did it, then Tamar's pregnant, then he's ready to kill her. Right? And then she said, well, whoever this staff belongs to, this ring belongs to, and he looks at it, so that's mine. He said, oh, she's more righteous than I was. Okay? But again, it's still wrong to do. All right? All right, so what made Yahuah angry in Numbers 25:3? Remember last week? What made him angry? Remember? No worries. I just happened to put that right on up here for you. Okay, and they called the people unto the sacrifice of their mighty ones, and the people did eat and bow down to their mighty ones. But listen to what it says. And Yahuah joined himself to Baal Peor, right? To Baal Peor, and the anger of Yahuah was kindled against Israel. That's all right. So look at the word, what does it mean, joined? What did they do? So they linked, they served, how also? But immensely in what way? To contrive, to fasten, join self. This made him hot. Now, why would that make him hot? Huh? Okay, everyone sees where this is going. Now, mind you, they just got married at Sinai sometime in the first generation, right? So now all of a sudden, they're now wanting to do this. You're going to see how these things are going to start to link together in just a minute, in case you haven't already, okay? So this word here is samad for the word joined. All right. Comparing stories. So this is and Yashral or Yisrael abode in Shittim. The people began to commit whoredom and to the daughters of Moab, and they called the people unto the sacrifice of their Elohim, and the people did eat, bow down to their Elohim. Question is, after this, these are the four things we're going to see, right? Everyone sees these four things here: whoredom, sacrifice, they had a feast, and idolatry. Everyone sees that, right? Okay, great. So I said, this is very important to understand the way of moving you and removing you from Yahuah, or any of these forms, forms of from anyway, has this happened before? Has this ever happened before where they did whoredom, sacrifice, feast, and idolatry? And if so, where? Golden calf? Okay. Right? Shemot or Exodus 32 verse 5 says, and when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it And Aaron and Aaron made proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast to Yahuah. Now, was it Yahuah?
No.
Okay. And they rose up early on the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and to drink and rose up and play. Tell me where you see these four things happening in Mount Sinai. Okay, so we have rose up to play. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. You're saying this is whoredom. Why do you say that? You got eat and drink. So you said
More,
the
it's
feast.
because of the golden calf. That was adultery.
Okay, so we'll put these two together, and then this is going to go. Okay, all these offerings, right? Okay, so all this is going to go over to sacrifice. Okay, he built this altar to do the idolatry, right? All right. No. But we got to figure out, then rose up to play. We're going to see. Because first, do you agree with her? Do y'all believe whoredom is rose up to play? Okay. Listen, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with you. Okay? All right. So, obviously the question was what? What does the scripture mean? See the Hebrew word there, right? What's that word? Lesachek. Lesachek, right? The root of the word is right here. Sachek. This is the root.
Mock, to laugh at.
Okay? Right. Okay, we're going to see.
They were mocking Yahuah.
Okay. We're going to see. I know we're using Strong's dictionaries. I tell you. You got to work around some of these modern dictionaries, but we'll work this out together. Remember this story. Bereshit of Genesis 39:14. It says, this is Pharaoh's Isha, his wife. And she called unto the men of her house and spoke unto them, saying, see, he has brought in a Hebrew unto us to Sakak. Here's that word. How though? He came in unto me to cry with me. Okay? Not cry with a loud voice, right? Right. So, notice what this is being connected to. Everyone sees it, right? All right. We'll do another one. 26:7, 8 and 9. It says, and the men of the place asked him of his Isha, his wife, and he said, she is my sister. For he feared to say she is my Isha, my wife, lest said he, the men of the people should kill me for Rebecca, because she was fair to look upon. She was fine. Okay. And it came to pass when he had been there a long time that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at the window and saw, and behold, what? Yitzchak, you see the root of the word. I want you to see this here is in the root of the word for Isaac's name. But he was what? Sporting with who? With Rivka, his Isha. Okay, so sporting, you can read the ESV notes if you like. But the word there is mesakek, and it means he was sporting. So, yeah, what do you mean he's sporting with it? He had a baseball bat and he played some football with it? Is that what he's doing? Painting her toenails? Okay, all right. My bad.
He was running that cave for it.
I wasn't sure, They said the Egyptians brought out the paint. He might have learned something. All right. Okay. Yeah. He said, hey, let me paint you up. All right. So in verse 9, it says, and Abimelech called Yitzchak Isaac and said, behold, of a surety she is your wife. So whatever this sporting was, automatically told him That's his wife,
Yeah,
right?
the body language.
And how he said, you shall, my sister, and then Yitzchak said unto him, because I said, at least I die for her. All right, so, sakak, right? Sakak, to laugh outright. This is what we would sport, laugh, mockery. This is the Strong's definition that everyone's using, right? Awesome. What I want to share, though, is the Hebrews suggest intimate relationship here. He saw something that went beyond friendship, right? And that's why the word there rose up to play, let you know that it went beyond something else. Okay, it went into the whoredom state, right? They started having feelings and emotions in a way that was towards their Elohim. Is everyone with me so far? All right. What does Yahuah say after the golden calf incident? Now listen to what he says. For you shall worship no other Elohim. For Yahuah, whose name is jealous, he's a jealous El. Visiting you make, it says, least you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their Elohim. Now let's tell how all this stuff took place. And do sacrifice unto their Elohim, and one call you, and you eat of his sacrifice, and you take of their daughters unto your sons, and the daughters go a whoring after their Elohim, and make your sons go a whoring after their Elohim. The very thing that took place, Mount Sinai, you see what he says in Shemot. Then when the Bel Peor situation takes place in Moab and the Midianites, they do the very thing he said not to do. As everyone sees this, right? All right. So notice the things said concerning after the golden calf incident. We saw, do not worship them, whoring after them, do not make a covenant with them. You would sacrifice to them, feast them, and take their daughters. All right. So this is what happened in this week's Parsha. So why did the plague stop? Okay. So it said pig is killed. You said do the javelin. Everyone agrees, right? All right. So it says, and he went after the man of Israel, into the tent, and thrust both of them through the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. All right. So by killing both, he killed the idolatry and the whoredom at the same time. Okay. These two things, as was stated earlier, can be interchangeable. Both must be killed, the mental and the physical. Pinchas understood what had to be done. Having the zeal for Yahuah meant two things must be under control: the mental idolatry, which is also mental whoredom against Yahuah, and the physical act, which creates the covenant agreement. Both needed to be destroyed. What is interesting in both stories is how just before these bad acts, there was good acts. In Sinai situation, remember, Israel just got, they was betrothed. Remember, he said, all that he said we'll do, we'll read that really fast, and then next you know, they got a golden calf thing going on at the bottom, right? They want to commit evil. Same thing with Bel Peor. They were just blessed by Yahuah through Balaam. Remember, he told them, bless them. And then next goes, they go off a whoring. Which will be interesting. We'll talk about in just a minute. What was the lesson? Once you trust, it does not stop there. New struggles will come. Can you maintain the relationship when they arise? Is this something that we can relate to today? Okay, so I put the violent or the acts of righteousness creates peace, right? So let's see how this works. Does anyone understand what I mean by this here? All right, so if not, we'll look at it in just a minute. All right, so this week's Parsha, it says, wherefore it says, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace. I give him shalom. And he shall have it and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his Elohim. And did what? He made atonement for the children of Yashral or Yisrael. All right, so here's the word for peace in Hebrew, shalom. Shin means to consume or destroy. It's a picture of teeth. I'll give you the pictures in just a minute. The lamed means to teach or control or authority. a picture of a shepherd's staff. The wa or u, or some call it the vav, means to secure, to hold, or to establish. Right? It's a picture of a nail. And the mem means waters or waters of chaos. Okay, so we know that the picture is of water. So if you put shalom or this peace together, it says peace cannot come until we or with what? The help of the Creator destroy. So remember, destroy is what? The shin. The authority is the shepherd's staff. That established or secured, that is the nail. Chaos, which is the water. Okay, so or destroy the teachings that establish chaos, meaning when you fix the problem, then will you have peace. If the problem is not fixed, you won't have peace. Okay, is everyone with me so far? All right, so here's a picture of it. All right, here's shalom. Everything that's, I guess I'll need to read all that stuff. So anyway, that's how it will look. There was a picture of the teeth, the staff, the nail, and the water. Okay, that's how you get shalom. Everyone's with me so far? No questions? All right. Names can sometimes help understand a person. So in verse 14, it says, now the name of the Israelite that was slain, even that was slain with the Midianitish woman, was Zimri, the son of Salu, a prince of a chief house among the Simeonites. Now, I want you to see something here. He was what? Okay, keep that in mind. All right, so Zimri. Zimri means musical from its root word, means to celebrate. Celebrate through song. Everyone's with me, right? All right. Salu. Salu means weight or balance. And then, of course, Simon's name, or Simeon, as you will, it says Shimoni, means hearing. But what else does Shema, because that's the root word Shema, what else does it mean? Shema means to? Right? Shema, yes, right? We said the Shema, right? Okay, great. All right, so celebrate by having balance, hearing and obeying or being obedient. But obviously, this is not what he did, but this is what his name meant. A lot of people that got names, but they don't walk in their name or their call. If you will. All right. Next one is, in the name of the Midianitish woman that was slain was Cosby, and then let's say Cosby, the daughter of Zor. He was what? He was the head over people, right? He was the chief of house. Everyone's starting to see what's going on here, right? All right, so Cosby means false. And then there's a root word. Okay. All right, and then the word sore. Sore means rock, but also from its root, it also means something else. This is what I want you to see. Mighty, strength, strong. He's our rock, things like that, right? But anyway, so we put it together. Midian literally means what? Well, what a tribe. All right. And that's the root of the word. Still means contest, quarrel, brawl, and contention, discord, things like that. So, false, mighty one, or mighty ones bring contention if you put the names together. Okay. So this is why Yahuah says, do not go in the ways of the Gentiles or the heathens or the nations. Do not mix with them, because they will cause all of this to happen. Okay. Is everyone with me so far? All right. How to break you from your Elohim. All right. So how the enemy can cause us to be separated from our Elohim, using the principle or principles from this Parsha. Both Midian and Moab participated in this deception. The attack was strategic. The Midianites was sent to the leaders of Israel. They sent their daughters of their leaders to cohabitate with the leaders of Israel. See, you know, you're of a high statute. I'm of a high statute. Let's get together. See that? Moab women were sent to create covenant with them and their Elohim. So remember, we just read 25, 1 and 2, so I don't need to reread that. So notice Israel was invited to sacrifice sacrifice to their Elohim, also to feast with it, right? Notice they were invited, right? They called the people unto the sacrifice. All right, then look at Shemot 19, verse 7 and 8. This is when Moses came down. It says, Moses came and called unto the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which Yahuah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahuah has spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto Yahuah. So again, there was a call and they accepted, right? So you're going to see the parallels why this would make him upset. Next is verse 24, 7 and 8 says, and he took up the book of the covenant. So what happened? This is Israel making a covenant with Yahuah, right? And read it in the audience of the people. And they said, all that Yahuah has said, we will do and be obedient. So again, it's a repeat. And then Moses took the blood and sprinkled upon the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahuah has made with you concerning all these words. So now they're taking this thing and now they're doing it with the Bel Peor, but I guess I could bring this up a little bit. All right, so verse 10, it says, and they saw the Elohim of Israel, and there was under his feet, as it were, paved works of sapphire stone, and as it were, the body of heaven in its clearness. And in verse 11, and upon the nobles of the children of Israel, he laid not his hand. Also, they saw Elohim. What did they do? They eat and drink. So you see, the very thing that they did with the Creator, they're doing it now with this other mighty one. Okay, and he just told them before, don't you do that, and they did it anyway. All right, so what did Israel do to learn about their Elohim? All right, so in order for Israel to learn about their Elohim, they would have to draw near to it. Remember what offering was used in the Bel Peor story, right? So I'm just going to tell you, it's a bach, right? So in other words, there had to be something happening. Blood. There had to be a blood covenant to take place, right? So again, blood was shed just as was when they made a covenant with Yahuah. Remember, he said the blood covenant. They killed and they sprinkled the blood on the people, and they wind up having a covenant. Okay, not good. All right, so peace. Peace is what we should be striving for. I just gave you a couple places to deal with that. It says, depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of Yahuah are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry. Mashiach says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of Elohim. Okay, so this is what we're supposed to be striving for, but sometimes we've got to do some things to get to that peace. All right, the church of the Midianites. All right, so Yahuah spoke unto Moses, saying, vex Hamidyanim, or the Midianites, and smite them. And they vex you with their wiles, which is their deceit, their tricks, wherewith they have beguiled or defrauded or conspired, deceived you in the matters of Peor. And in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of the prince of Midian, their sister, which was slain in the day of the plague for Peor's sake. All right, so again, here's the word there for vex. How does a person can vex is you become the adversary. You can afflict, bind, distress, oppress, things like that. All right, so who caused Israel to commit trespass against Yahuah in the matter of Peor, meaning who was the culprit? You said who?
The guy that spoke with the donkey.
Balaam? Or Balaam? Okay. So he says, and Musha said unto them, have you saved all the women alive? Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against Yahuah in the matter of Peor, and there was a plague among the congregation of Yahuah. So again, we're going to see more about Balaam and what he does later. But just for now, so Balaam used the women to cause separation from Yahuah, using women and idolatry. So this would be the way to draw Israel from their Elohim. Okay, that's what they used. So the women were used as tools, right? Did I need to go back to my disclaimer? Okay, all right. Just want to verify some things. Revelation 2:14. So, but I have a few things against you because you have the what? Hold of the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed unto idols, and to commit fornication. Okay, so again, we know who did all that. What is zeal? No one knows what zeal is, huh? And didn't I tell you this lesson is gonna make? Oh, there we go. Jealousy. Is there anything else? Passion. Okay. So there's good and bad, right? All right, great. Should make sure they signed a piece of paper when everybody walked in, so they can take it with them. All right. So anyway, primitive root. This is just a definition for it. Is kana. You see zealous. You see jealous. You see envy. You know, to provoke to jealousy and things like that, right? All right. So in Aramaic, with the meaning to feel, arouse, jealousy, or envy. Middle Hebrew also uses the peel in the causative sense. This is just use some syntax and grammar. Make jealous. Ethiopic or and the Maharan is Kanana and Kani. And Kanat means jealousy, envy. The same is true for Tigri and Sokotri. In Syriac, again, the root kan expresses zealous or efforts in attaining something. In the human domain, kan refers primarily to a what? Violent emotion aroused by fear of losing a person or object in association with the idea of ownership. How does this work? Anybody? The floor is open. I see a bunch of red in people's eyes now. That's all good. All right. So again, I said human domain. So think about it. Violent emotions aroused a fear of losing something. So if you have a fear of losing something, this can create jealousy, envy, strife, because the fear is you're losing something, right? And then it talks about or an object, you know, be it someone's attached to their vehicles or whatever object that they make as an idol at some point. Okay, as association with the idea of ownership. So someone can have they have a zeal and jealousy because they feel as though they're the ones that own it, right? So if I say for women, if they say, "Hey, I own my man," I know no one's sitting here saying that they own their man, but they say, "Hey, this is mine." So having that, could that make an emotional response, right? Okay. So in English, a sense of entitlement to an object is described most often as envy, whereas a claim on a person is described as jealousy. The Hebrew has only a single word to cover both aspects of these terms. Okay. So the context of the scriptures is going to tell you what it is. So three main words fall under the Hebrew word kana, which is zeal or zealous, envy, envious, jealousy or jealous. Okay. Okay. What we got? Okay.
It says, okay. So the man should be the one to pursue.
Let me get some water. Sounds like water time. Go ahead.
The man should be the one to pursue based on Proverbs 15:22. A single woman can present herself to a man the situation is the of the queen or queen. The question then becomes, and if the wife that he already has doesn't want it, then
Okay, so the question is, should he, in layman's terms, should she feel forced into doing something? If she doesn't want it, the question becomes, I don't know, it depends on the person's household, but I would say it this way. Is he the head of the house? Is he in charge? What's happening? Should he do this and not have a talk with his Isha, sit down and have a conversation? I think that's what they need to do. They should sit down, they should talk about it, go over scriptures about it, concerning it, and things like that. Also I don't know the dynamics of it, but is he doing it because out of lust? Is it other reasons as to why he's doing it? I don't know any of those questions. Because if he's just saying I can do it because word says I can do it, that's not a good reason. All things is lawful, but not what? Expedient. So just because it's lawful doesn't necessarily mean it's for you to do because I see it in the law, right? So that's why I say it depends on, I guess, more of the dynamics of what he wants to bring out. All right. Zeal breaks down into envy and jealousy, right? So we all have zeal that lies within us, okay? What and or how we display it depends on you, right? Me. What someone has done to you or for you, what you allowed yourself to be subject to, what frame of mind you are in, meaning your mindset, and the severity of the situation or circumstance. All right, so all four are summed up into your fear, belief or faith, understanding, knowledge, and wisdom. Okay? Is everyone with me so far? All right, but since we're not doing a counseling session, the focus of this part of this lesson will be our zeal for Yahuah and how we express it according to the examples in the scriptures and writings. We're going to see that and in the Haftorah portion. So this is about maybe 4 or 5 slides and we'll be finished. I'll close it out. The Haftorah portion of it, 1 Kings 18:36. So it says, and it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice that Eliyahu, the prophet, came near and said, what? Yahuah Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and of Yisrael, Israel, let it be known this day that you are Elohim and Elohim in Yisrael or Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, O Yahuah, hear me, that this people may know that you are Yahuah Elohim, and that you have turned their heart back again. Then the fire of Yahuah fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice and the wood and the stone and the dust and licked up the water that was in the trench. Everyone's familiar with the story. All right. And when all the people saw it, they fell upon their faces and they said, Yahuah, he is Elohim. Yahuah is the Elohim. And Eliyahu said unto them, take the prophet of Baal or Baal, let not one of them escape. And they took them, and Eliyahu brought them down to the brook Kishon and slew them there. Okay, so Pinchas slew the Midianite woman and the man, and he had zeal for Yahuah. Eliyahu slew all the prophets of Baal, and he had zeal for Yahuah. Now, I'm not going to say all because we're going to see that there's some other places where that's not true. Later on in just a minute. So after he did these things to the prophet of Baal, what was Eliyahu afraid of? He's afraid of who?
Jezebel.
All right, Jezebel, right? Okay, Isabel, right? Okay, anyway, Jezebel. So 19:1 it says, and Achab or Ahab told Isabel all that Eliyahu had done. Why would he need to do that? Okay, and with all how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Then Isabel sent a messenger unto Eliyahu, says, so let the mighty ones do to me, plural, right? And more also, if I make not your life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time, right? Now I put in my little notes there, you know, who is in charge in this relationship, right? Notice Isabel is Eliyahu, Ahab goes to his Isha to tell her, and she's going here making rules now. Anyway, notice her threats towards the man, specifically the man of Yah. Verse 3, and when he saw that, he arose and went for his life and came to Beersheba, which belongs to Yehudah, and left his servant there. So the father has just shown his mighty hand, right? So he used Eliyahu to show he was with him. Then Jezebel caused him to forget what Yahuah can do. She made him fear her. See the changeover.
She became nice.
Right. Verse 4 says, but he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a juniper tree. The Hebrew there is rotem, which literally means yoke. And he requested for himself that he might die. And he said, it is enough now, O Yahuah, take away my life, for I am not better than my fathers. Question is, why was he not better than his fathers? Because unbelief. Remember, all of them fell for the same purpose. Everything is unbelief. 19:10. And then he said, I have been what? Very jealous for Yahuah Elohim of hosts. For the children of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and slain your prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away. And he said, go forth and stand upon the mount before Yahuah. And behold, Yahuah passed by, and a great and strong wind rent the mountains and break in pieces the rocks before Yahuah. But Yahuah is not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But Yahuah is not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire. But Yahuah is not in the fire. And after the fire, he's still small voice. And it was so, when Eliyahu heard it, that he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out and stood in entering in of the cave. And behold, there came a voice unto him and said, what do you hear, Eliyahu? Okay, so we can see how Eliyahu had a zeal, so much so that he was jealous for Yahuah. A lot of us have this. He saw how Israel forsaken the covenant, but he missed the part where he needed belief, not just in the covenant, but in himself. Okay, he was at this moment easily shaken when trouble came his way. So what else can we learn about this story?
We know Yah, we've seen that he has given us this position of place that we stand firm, and not let anything come against us that kind of knock us off our games. Even though he's called you, he's shown his hand to you, so just stand firm.
Okay.
No matter what comes up.
Okay. So how many of us has experienced the Father being with you? Right? So if you experienced it, the minute trouble comes, all of a sudden he's not there. You see, that's what's happening. We normally, when we get into something, we tend to lose that belief or lose that faith, or now you're by yourself somehow, right? But mind you, but when things were going good for you, you notice he was there. All right. So keep in mind the places where he said he was not there: wind, earthquake, and fire. I want you to keep those things in mind when you go through things like that. Okay. All right. I know that people get tired, so I'm going to try to wrap this thing up. Yeah. All right. I had an extra slide, but we'll see. All right. So, and Yahuah said unto him, go return on your way to the wilderness of Damascus, and when you come, anoint Hazael to be king over Syria. And Yahu, the son of Nimshi, shall you anoint to be king over Israel, and Eliyahu, the son of Shaphat. And then it says, Abel Mecholah shall you anoint to be prophet in your room. And it shall come to pass that him that escapes the sword of Hazael shall Yahu slay, him that escapes from the sword of Yahu shall Eliyahu slay. So this says, yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, Yashra, all the knees which have not bowed down to Baal, and every mouth which has not kissed him. And when he was departed thence, he lighted on Yahuah, the son of Rechab, coming to meet him, and he saluted him and said to him, is your heart right, as my heart is with your heart? So that's the question. And Yahuah answered, it is. If it be, give me your hand. And he gave him his hand, and he took him up to him into the chariot. Now listen to it. It says in verse 16, and he said, come with me and see my zeal for Yahuah. So they made him ride in his chariot, and when he came to Samaria, he slew all that remained unto Achab or Ahab and Samaria till he had destroyed him, according to the sayings of Yahuah, which he spoke unto Eliyahu. Okay, so keep in mind, you notice someone having the same heart, same mind, having the same zeal for Yahuah. These are people you normally want to be around. Okay. So this is, and Yahuah gathered all the people together and said unto them, Ahab served Baal a little, but Yahuah shall serve him much. Now therefore call unto me all the prophets of Baal, all his servants and all his priests. Let none be wanting, for I have a great sacrifice to do to Baal. Whosoever shall be wanting, he shall not live. But Yahuah did in subtlety to the intent that he might destroy the worshipers of Baal. So he got this good zeal. Okay, and Yahuah said, proclaim a solemn assembly for Baal, and they proclaimed it. And Yahuah said, through all Israel, and all the worshipers of Baal came, so that there was not a man left that came not. And they came into the house of Baal, and the house of Baal was full from one end to another. I mean, it was jam-packed. And he said unto him that was over the vesture, bring forth vestments for all of the worshipers of Baal. And he brought them forth vestments. I mean, they had some nice robes on and things like that. They were looking good. And Yahuah went and Yahuah, the son of Rechab, into the house of Baal and said unto the worshipers of Baal, search and look that there be here with you none that serve the servants of Yahuah, but the worshipers of Baal only. And I just put it here really quick. See, worshiping Baal, we see it all the way back in the Torah portion. And this thing, Baal worship, is just ongoing. Ongoing. All right, so he says, and when they went into offer sacrifice and burnt offerings, Yahuah appointed 80 men without and said, if any of the men whom I have brought into your hands escape, he that lets him go, his life shall be for the life of him. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of offering the burnt offerings, that Yahuah said to the guard and to the captains, go in and slay them, let none come forth. And they smote them with the edge of the sword. And the guard and the captains cast them out and went to the city of the house of Baal. And they brought forth the image out of the house of Baal and burned them. And they break down the images of Baal and break down the house of Baal and made it drought house unto this day. Thus Yahuah destroyed Baal out of Israel. All right. So we would say that Yahuah had a zeal and loved Yahuah. What did he do next?
I think he switched from Yahuah and became merciful.
Okay. 31. But Yahuah took no heed to walk in the laws of Yahuah Elohim of Israel with all his heart. For he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, if you will, which made Israel to sin. So here we can see an example of what is happening today. Some claim they have zeal for Yahuah, but don't want to keep or obey his word. So how can you have both? We can say it, but if we don't do it, there's a problem. All right. So understanding the right zeal. So Acts 21:20 says, and when they heard it, they esteemed Yahuah and said unto him, you see, brothers, how many thousands of Yahudim there are which believe, and they are all zealous of the law, right? A lot of people are zealous for the law. Romans 10:1-3 says, brother, my heart's desire and prayer to Elohim for Israel is that they might be saved. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of Elohim, but not according to knowledge. For they being ignorant of Elohim's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of Elohim. All right. So this is the difference between having a righteous zeal for Yahuah and having a zeal with Yahuah in mind. Okay. Yeah, I'm all for you, yeah. I got you in mind, but there's some things I want to add. There's some things I want to do. Right. So you have to make that choice. Right. Of course, you see the guy, he's all for him on the left, and to the right says, but it is good to be zealous, effective always in a good thing, and not only when I am present with you. Don't just do it, it's not about a show and tell thing, right? You should want to do this all the time. All right, closing out this Parsha, it says, and Moses spoke unto Yahuah, saying, let Yahuah the Elohim of the spirits of all flesh set a man over the congregation, which may go out before them, and which may go in before them, and which may lead them out, and which may bring them in, that the congregation of Yahuah be not a sheep which have no shepherd. And Yahuah said unto Moses, take you Yahushua or Joshua the son of Nun, a man in whom is the spirit, and lay your hands upon him. And set him before Eleazar the priest, and before all the congregation, and give him a charge in their sight. So then it says, and you shall put or give, is in the Hebrew there, some of your honor upon him, that all the congregation of the children of Yashar or Israel may be obedient. And he shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall ask counsel for him after the judgment. The Urim, which means what? Urim is lights, or the light, or is light. Anyway, before Yahuah, and his word shall be that they go out, and his word they shall come in, both he and all the children of Israel, with him, even all the congregation. And Moses did as Yahuah commanded him, and he took Yahushua or Joshua and set him before Eleazar the priest and before all the congregation. And he laid his hands upon him and gave him a charge. And Yahuah commanded by the hand of Moses. All right. So we're just going to wrap this up with this part, and I got a little slide, and we'll call it a day. So 2 Kings 2:9-1-13. So you saw how Moses gave some of his honor to Joshua, right? All right. Then you read over here in 2 Kings 2:9, it says, and it came to pass that when there was gone over, the Eliyahu said to Elisha, ask what I shall do for you before I be taken away from you. And Elisha said, I pray you, let a double portion of your spirit be upon me. And he said, you have asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if you see me when I am taken from you, it shall be so unto you, but if not, it shall not be so. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Eliyahu went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them into two pieces. He took up also the mantle of Eliyahu that fell from him, and went back and stood by the banks of Jordan. And he took the mantle of Eliyahu that fell from him, and smote the waters, and said, where is Yahuah Elohi, the Elohim of Eliyahu? And when he also had smitten the waters, they parted here and there, and Eliyahu went over. Okay, so here's the question. The same place Moses placed his hand on Elisha and was given honor is the same place the mantle fell upon Elisha from Eliyahu, if you ever looked the place up. But here, does anyone know what this means here? Right here it says P. Shanim. What does this mean? Okay, no worries. Okay, double portion. So what does it mean, double portion?
Double. You get more than you get.
Okay.
Whatever the first portion was, you get it again.
So you want double of what he had.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm feeling you.
All right. No worries. So archaeology found weight stones that had the word P or Pim. P means a third of a shekel. So what Elisha was asking was for 2/3 of what Eliyahu had, not a double portion of what he had. That would be like kind of, I suppose, kind of crazy to ask, I want more than what you have, Eliyahu, right? You know, I want to be better than you. That's not what he's asking, right? So anyway, they found in archaeology some stones. And in the stones, they found the weights. And in the weights, you'll see the word there is P, which is 1/3. So he's asking for 2/3 of that. All right. And future study, and then we're closed. What are you expecting to happen on the 7th day of rest and the last day? This really simple question. It's going to be a future study for you guys. If you want to do it, Yeshua, you're more than willing to. But what are we doing? Okay, let's look at this here. Shemot, or Exodus 31:16 and 17. It says, wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Shabbat, to observe the Shabbat throughout their generations for perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahuah made the heavens and the earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was okay. So we know what's happening. We know this day is a sign, right? And this sign says, in 7th day he rested and was what? Okay, so keep that in mind. You'll see this in the Hebrew here. Want to read it? No problem. Shabi'i, Shabbat. What is this right here? Right here. Yeah, so this says Wa Yi Nafash. And the root of this word is Nafash, which is also for Nefesh, soul. Okay? So, what I find interesting is how on the 7th day he rested, but he was refreshed. The word refreshed is the same root word for soul. Will our soul be refreshed? And if so, how will that happen? The hint is in the beginning. Okay. Right. This is for their future study. If they can answer if you want, but if you can, I'm just saying in the future study will work how your soul will be refreshed on the 7th day. Okay.
You talking about the literal day, or are you talking about like
prophetic? That's what I'm saying. The future, the last day. Okay. All right. Any questions? Share. Yes, share elot. Pertaining to the lesson.
I got a question, Lamadyahu.
Oh, okay. Is it, you said
when Pinchas put the javelin between the two people, they were committing whoredom in the camp. It says that Yahuah gave him a covenant of peace.
Yes.
So basically, I guess he would be considered the first peacemaker. When Mashiach Yahusha in chapter 5 of Matyahu, he says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of Yahuah. Is there a connection between the peacemaker that Mashiach was talking about and what Pinchas did?
Okay. No, the one for Pinchas is basically for the Levites. However, the same principle for peace is the same for all that creates peace and is in peace. They will be sons of Yahuah, sons of Elohim. But their specific covenant was for Pinchas, and he was an actual Levite.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Anyone else? Mhm. Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, as soon as you stop recording, it's no problem. All right. So outside of nothing for the lesson, everyone else is good.
Question, in reference to the about the seventh day, does it have anything to do with
It has something to do with it, but the answer is actually in Bereshit. Mm-hmm. 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, Ezekiel, Revelations. Yeah, it's quite a few places. All right. So ignorance is curable, however, foolishness is fatal. Hallelujah. All right. We can stand and close. Oh yeah, you see how they cleared camp, didn't you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, Yashar.
Father Yahuah, we just want to thank you for this, Father. Thank you for great Father that taught us our lives. According to your knowledge, Father, we are Zeal, Father, and according to your word, Father, I want to, Father, say, thank you so much for your love. For sins, transgression, that we love those that we love, Father, help us to be blessed in those that we will help us to come up to your covenant, guard it, and walk in the way of our ancient ancestors that were righteous.
Yeah. All right. Right. Okay. Double check.
Oh yeah.
So.
What up, Brian?
Oh, man. Pretty good. I haven't seen in a while. Yeah, man. I sent you. Look at your phone. I see your phone. Go look at your phone. Because I asked you about the food. I asked you how the food was. Oh, I text you back. No, you didn't. What? You asked me about it. You got on me because I called you back. Remember? Yeah, you got on me. You said, oh no, you said that at the about the food. Yeah, let me check. I'm gonna see because you must have did it today. Oh, you said today. But it's all good. I understand you're a busy man. It says, how was the food? Look right there. How was the food? I apologize for not calling.
Pass them on, Mr. Carr. Shalom, shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom. Ben Yahu.
Good.
I got a question for you, brother.
Good.
In Devarim chapter 16, chapter 12, verse 22, there's a passage that really gives me some confusion. And it says here, only as the gazelle and the deer are eaten, so you are to eat. The unclean and the clean alike eat of it. I mean, the unclean, that's the part that I'm having some problems with.
The unclean is talking about people who are unclean, not the animals. If you continue to read it, you'll see it.
I think I remember Rich talking about that too.
Mitch over there.
Yeah, not that cool.
So it's talking about people.
Right.
Yeah. So a person that's unclean, like for instance, someone that's touched a dead body or touched a dead animal, they're unclean.
Right.
So they're still able to eat of the gazelle and of the deer. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So it has nothing to do, yeah, it has nothing to do with an unclean animal then, because I know the Yahuah wouldn't allow us to eat a pig or anything like that,
Okay.
or an animal that has died of itself.
That's right.
Okay, yeah, because that was really like throwing me for a loop, because that's a passage that I would see somebody that is against Torah and keeping Torah would try to use to say, look, you can eat pig if you want to, because it says right there, you can eat unclean.
Yeah, the only reason I know what you were talking about because I've seen that come up so many times.